It is a super hot day today, guys. Super hot. Hey everyone, welcome to my video. I'm so glad you guys are here today because today I'm going to be answering popular Amazon FBA questions and giving you guys the answers that you are looking for. Question number one, what is the best Amazon FBA product research tool? The answer is Helium 10. Helium 10 offers the widest variety of product research tools within a lower cost of entry. A lot of these other tools, they do have the same tools, the same style tools, but they all cost a pretty penny. And I think Helium 10 really does knock it out of the park with offering more for less. So that answer for me is going to be Helium 10. Now, does that mean that Jungle Scout, what I use, and Viral Launch and Merchant Words and all these other all these different tools for all these different purposes suck? Absolutely not. They all have their uses, but if you already have Jungle Scout, if you already have Viral Launch, if you already have Helium 10, there's absolutely no reason at this point to swap over to one or the other, because chances are you won't need to. It's just a waste of money at this point. You should just use what you have and make the best of it. Question number two. Is it possible to make a lot of money with Amazon FBA? And I'll be honest with you guys and let you know the answer, that while I do have about $350,000 a month in recurring income, not for me, but from my students alone, okay, right now, currently, as we speak, that does not mean that just because some people are successful with it, that everyone's going to be successful with it. The process of Amazon FBA is straightforward, but the differences show between the characters of the people who are trying to sell. Some people try their hardest. Some people don't put a lot of effort into it. So it's really a question about who you are as a person in regards to how much success you're actually going to see trying to sell on Amazon. I have a guy who started a little over 2.5 months ago, is already doing $25,000 a month. Another guy started about 35 days ago and is doing about maybe $10,000 a month. But just ran out of stock. Now, you guys know me not to be the type to gloat, but I'm really, really proud of some of my students. And, you know, all I'm trying to say is that if you want it, you can have it. You can see success with Amazon, but it really, really depends on the person, right? So just to reiterate, my answer is yes, you can make money, but it depends on how badly you want it. Question number three. How much money is necessary to start Amazon FBA? And the reality is that this answer has a huge spectrum of possible answers. It could be as cheap as $1,500, $2,000. It could be as expensive as $10,000. And the reason for this is because there's a huge disparity in what are you buying, what are you selling, how much are the shipping costs, is it a big product, is it a little product, and a lot of these things will play a huge part in the costs of starting a business. I would say the more conservative average would be like, let's say, $3,000 to $4,000 to get started. With Amazon FBA for like a medium-sized product that's selling for maybe $25, $30. But, you can do the bare minimum by buying some accessory items, something really, really small that might be selling for 10, 15 bucks. And you could be buying it for maybe 50 cents, maybe $1 a unit, buy 300 units and sell those. And with shipping and everything involved, it might be maybe $1,500. But keep in mind that when you sell cheaper products, there is naturally more competition because more people are able to buy it and sell it. And then it could be as high as $10,000 because custom molds cost a lot of money. Custom molds is your own personal private product. No one else sells it but you. You have your own hookup within the supplier and you are selling your own custom, completely separate product from everyone else. But this is a high risk, high reward kind of situation. You don't want to put $10,000 into a product that is maybe worse than your competition's product. So that's why I do not recommend spending that much money on Amazon FBA. It's literally just not worth it. It's better that you spend $2,000, $3,000, get started, make your first $5,000, $10,000 this month, and then go from there, keep building your business up, and then when you feel comfortable to do so, to spend $10,000 and not really think much of it, then you should start looking into custom molds. But for starting out, I absolutely do not recommend spending more than $5,000, $6,000. Question number four, what is the best method from shipping from China to Amazon FBA warehouses? Now, this is another question that has a lot of answers. It has to do with Incoterms, which is the responsibilities divvied up between the supplier and the seller. It has to do with whether or not you want air shipping or do you want to ship via sea or ocean. There's a lot of different answers for this question. And the best answer I can give to you guys is focus on shipping by sea, okay, shipping by water, don't ship by air. The cost is astronomical starting out. So you don't want to, kiss your profits goodbye just because you want to do, air shipping. So I would stay away from air for your first shipment. The second tip I can give to you guys is to ensure that your shipment is going to be DDP or DDU. So DDP is delivery duties paid, DDU is delivery duties unpaid. And what your supplier can do here is to take most of the responsibility of the products, ensuring that they get to U.S. shores, right? So the thing I talked about earlier, which is Incoterms, this is just how much responsibility is on you, how much responsibility is on the seller. And it's worth the extra cost to just put all the responsibility on the seller. Or you could go with a freight forwarder of your own and then have them take the responsibility for sending your product to Amazon FBA warehouses. Now, the third tip I can give to you guys is let your supplier do their thing. If you've vetted the supplier, if they've sold hundreds of thousands of units this year to other Amazon FBA sellers or other businesses out there in the world selling their products, chances are you just need to let them do their thing. If you try to hijack their method, their simplified, effective method of shipping your products, in this case, to Amazon FBA facilities, just let them do it. Rather than trying to include your own freight forwarder, telling them you want these Incoterms, you want this, this method is preferred, et cetera, et cetera. While you can, of course, make demands with suppliers, like telling them, hey, I would prefer to do this method versus the method you normally talk about. That's perfectly valid. But, if they are very, very established Amazon FBA product sellers or they're very established on Alibaba, then I would just let them do it the best way they know how. Question number 5, how much profit margin is there in Amazon FBA? Now, this depends on what you're selling, obviously, but in most cases, you should be seeing at around a 35 to 45% profit margin with Amazon within the first 6 months of selling. Now, why do I say within the first 6 months? Because as you build a relationship with your supplier, your costs will naturally go down, and you can push that upwards to a 45 to 50% profit margin if you're selling higher end ticket items. So I'm not talking about selling $12 items or $14 items. I'm talking about selling $26, $30 items. You can get upwards of a 50% profit margin on there. Now, keep in mind that this profit margin does not include PPC, right? And if you can manage to get a pay-per-click advertising cost of sale in the 20% range, this leaves you with about 25% profit margin. So if you're making, let's say, $100,000 this year, you would be left with maybe about $25,000, $30,000 profit after everything's said and done. Well, that doesn't sound so sweet, does it? But the reality is that $100,000 a year is chump change. If we're talking in the world of selling things, it is really, really chump change. What you need to be focused on is making $500,000 a year. And if you could do $500,000 a year, that leaves you with a doctor's or engineer's salary in your pocket. If you do $1 million a year, you're left with like a surgeon's salary, right? So it's all about scaling up. Once you understand the general idea of Amazon, the premise of it and how to sell, you can expand your product range to offer 10, 15, 20 different products in just a few short years. And that's you taking it slow. And what you can do is that you can build this business up to millions of dollars a year if you wanted. Now, the thing is, a lot of people expect Amazon to be a get quick rich scheme, like where you just buy a product, you start selling it tomorrow, and the next month you're making $20,000 a month. And while that worked for some people, that's worked for some of my students even the last month or two, that's not going to be the situation for everybody. The moral of this story essentially is that you have to treat Amazon FBA like any other business where you are starting from zero and you're working your way up slowly. No big business is made overnight. Nike wasn't done that way. Apple wasn't done that way. Ford Motor Company wasn't done that way. No big company was started overnight, right? Now, the best part about Amazon is that if you hunker down and focus on growth, for a year after you start your Amazon FBA journey. The level of work involved will not change at all. If you have $100,000 you're making a month, or if you're doing $10,000 a month, the process doesn't change very much in terms of a time commitment. Whereas if you were running a construction company, if you're running a cleaning company like I do, if you're running any other business, the more money you make, the more time you're gonna have to spend associated with that business, with that money that you're making, which won't leave you a lot of free time on the side. But Amazon sort of flips it on its head. Now, with that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. If you do have any other questions you want answered in another video, I'll make another sort of Q&A how-to video, and you guys just let me know, and I'll make sure those questions see the next video. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.